Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome in. So we got an interesting discussion today. Um, so while I'm waiting for everyone to just kind of like join in, if you guys are jumping in right now, please hit the like button. I would truly appreciate it. Gene, what's up? Welcome in, and glad to have you here. Um, Let me pop the chat on the bottom corner over there, but Gene, thank you so much for stopping by this evening or late night for you. It's evening for me, almost about nighttime already. It's like 8 p.m. my time. I normally don't go live around this time, but I figured, I didn't have anything going on really today, didn't drop any videos. So I figured I would come on live for just for a little bit, kind of chat about the Pixel 10. Since that's coming up here real soon, Joyce of San Joaquin Valley, welcome in. Glad to have you here as well. Um, yeah, so it's slightly open topic. It's 11:04 p.m. I am sorry if I'm keeping you awake, Gene. Um, but yeah, so I kind of wanted to talk about the Google Pixel 10 and the 10 Pro. There's specifications and things like that that just seems, a little odd. Hold on, I'm getting messages at this time, but yeah. Anyways, earlier today I took my wife's Pixel 9a to get a battery replacement, and not battery replacement, but screen replacement, because yesterday she was heartbroken. She you know, literally dropped her Pixel 9a, and it had a screen protector on it, like mine's, but it landed. I guess it was like gravel, and so I looked at it and I was like, oh, the screen is just fine then. Screen protector took the damage, but I noticed something weird about it. So I peeled the screen protector off, and there are spider cracks on the main display. Totally a bummer, but it's been replaced. Her phone is just fine. I have insurance on them through Google Fi. So yeah, took it into a U break I fix Assurion to have it same day replaced. It was kind of funny because the guy, like, he was so happy to fix the display on it. He was like, it's such a nice looking phone and everything. And when he handed the phone back to my wife, she was wondering why she couldn't unlock her device with a fingerprint. It was giving her an error message, and I read the error message, and it had to be recalibrated. So he quickly took it in the back, recalibrated the phone. Fingerprint sensor started working, gave it back. So everything's all working now on the Pixel 9a. I'm going to drop a video kind of talking more about that, and finding out if if you're using like Gorilla Glass 3 or Gorilla Glass 5, if the replacement screens that they use to repair your device are the same type with screens, or if it's like a third-party generic screen. So far, I've been looking at both phones side by side, my Pixel 9a and hers, to see if I see any differences, like color representation and things like that. I'm not seeing anything different. So you go to bed at 1:30 a.m.? Okay, cool. U-Break I fix is great. I use it for my two phones. Yeah, they're pretty good. They're pretty good. This cool thing was that I bought the Pixel 9a's before July 2025. Apparently, with Google Fi now, if you get a phone from Google Fi and you put insurance on it, the insurance is now through Assurion. So I don't know how I feel about that, because buying the Pixel 10 here soon, and when I put device protection on that with Google Fi, I already know that's going to be Assurion and not the way that my 9As are. My dogs are always barking. Well, my Chihuahua Opie is always barking. He's officially gone blind in both eyes, so he cannot see anymore, which is kind of crazy. It amazes me how much my dog can get around. Because I live in a townhouse, right? So it's upstairs, downstairs, and it's just so crazy to see him be able to go downstairs on his own. I try not to baby him, because if he's able to get around the house, be able to find his way to go outside to use the bathroom and everything, I don't want to handicap him where he's not able to use his other senses to get himself around. But yeah, he's officially blind. Like, I could put my hand right in front of his eyes, And you know, a dog will respond if you put your hand up like that. He has no response at all whatsoever. He knows I'm close to him because he could smell my hand, he could smell my scent, but he doesn't know exactly how close I am to him, and it's so crazy. Um, I love that dog. Does my dog have a lead dog? No. We do. I do have other dogs in the house, but he doesn't follow their lead. Like he, you know, maybe he follows their scent. But the fact that he's able to gauge stairs is really crazy. It's really something. Um, but you know, that's what I was reading online on how to care for a dog who's lost its vision, and they literally told on the website. It literally said like, try not to move your furniture around too much because they have of course their sense of smell is already good before they lose their eyesight, so it's like amplified like greatly, and so they can actually remember where certain things are based on smell. So like they know the way the couch smells, they know the way the dinner table smells, so they can kind of gauge their distance a little bit. The only thing that he has a problem with is going outside because the front of, you know, like the front door to the outside patio area, there's a small little drop, and sometimes he, you know, well, he doesn't remember it's always there, so sometimes he takes that awkward front step out, and it's like more than what he expected it to be, lowered, and he just kind of like stumbles a little bit. But you know, he's you know, he's doing fine. He's already old, I would say, in um I think in dog years, he is 13 or 14 years old in dog years. Depends on how big your dog is the age. So if I remember correctly, he's roughly about 70 year old, like 70 years old. In like dog years. In human years, he's like 14 years old. I am thinking about buying a new phone. Excuse me. I think about buying a new phone if Xfinity Mobile will give me a good deal. I want a Samsung Galaxy completely free to me if I agree to stay with Xfinity Mobile for 24 months. Hey man, if you can swing that deal, swing that deal. You know, you never know what kind of deals they have, right? My wife was like, she was like, maybe I should hold on the Pixel 10 on pre-ordering it because they may have like deals where it's like, you know, buy a Pixel 10 and get it completely free over 24-month credits. She was like telling me about that. So like now I'm like struggling. I'm like, oh my God, I'm in between a rock and a hard place because I want to order the Pixel 10 as soon as it's available to pre-order. But the deals don't come until a little bit later. And then if I make a deal for the Pixel 10 and order it, then of course my unboxing, my review would be like a week or two after everybody else has gotten theirs brand new and unboxed it. And it's like, you know, beat the clock on YouTube is such a pain in the ass. You always want to be first to the finish, but I don't know, man. You have an iPhone 16 Plus? Nice. Run from Xfinity Mobile. They don't hold to their word. Been on and off with them for years. Whoa. Ooh. Shots fired. Shots fired at Xfinity Mobile. Yeah, I'm pretty much good with Google Fi. And if you guys don't know, shout out to Brandon because a lot of that, if I drop speed test on T-Mobile 5G Go plan, I believe is what it is. It's this gentleman right here that's letting me borrow the line to do speed tests here in my city. And you know, so I'd always give him a shout out for that, just because, you know, he didn't have to do it, and you know, so yeah, everyone, give Brandon a shout out, give him a thumbs up, something, you know, because that's the reason I'm able to actually compare. Which, you know, because he's lending me the line to use, I'm able to tell people, not just guesstimated, but actually telling you guys that Google Fi customers are pretty much on the same priority access as the T-Mobile Go 5G plans, or basically postpaid plans. My phone plan is $100 for a phone from way back in the day that was Ah, I see, I see. And they're updating me and my mom to a newer plan that's called Experience More for Business. Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, a lot of upgrading going on, a lot of upgrading going on, a lot of you know, apparently this year is supposed to be like the year for Google, which I have the specs pulled up for the Pixel 10 and 10 Pro. Now, from phonearena.com, there's probably going to be a little bit of a slight error on there. There's a few things I'm seeing on their specs, like what they say the specs are, and yeah, it's pretty much an error. You just had to straighten out your art bill. You have two lines. Oh, okay. Okay. Cool. Cool. So don't mind me if I drop out of camera into avatar mode. It's just that I'm going to be pulling up the screen, and so yeah, I don't want anything kind of fudging around. Man, it's been heating up in my city again, so it's pretty hot here, and that really does. Oh, AT&T. Okay, good typo. It's totally cool, Gene. Thanks for clarifying. But yeah, the heat does kind of mess with my network connection. So if you guys don't mind if I drop out to an avatar mode, and I'm gonna go ahead and screen share what I am currently looking at. All right, so here we go. So this is phonearena.com. And they, as you guys can see here, no, not announced, no information unannounced. So it pretty much tells me this is how old this information that they supposedly got on the Pixel 10. Because what we do know, oh yeah, for sure, Gene, for sure. If the power goes out here, we're F like Chuck, right? We're duck like Chuck. Right. But to be honest with you guys, this year hasn't been really too bad at all whatsoever. I mean, we've had more cooler days than what we normally do. We're already about to hit August, and we haven't hit like 117, 118 when it comes to temperatures here. We've only been at between 97 to 110, give or take. That's not too bad. I must be acclimating to the weather here because I can finally wear hoodies outside when it's 170 degrees to 110 degrees. I can still wear a hoodie and a long sleeve. My wife says I'm stupid. By the way, guys, if you guys can do me a solid, smash the like button. Tomorrow is my son's birthday. He is turning the big 10. 1-0. He is now in double digits. So give a shout out to my son, Rain. It is his birthday. And yes, his name is Rain, like rain from the sky. But technically, for those who don't know, I gave him the name Rain after my who's the purple ninja, Rain, from Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. But that's for a whole totally different thing. But anyways, yeah, so specifications for a Google Pixel 10 and 10 Pro. Because a lot of people are going to be stuck in this area. When I think about, when the Pixel 10 series releases on August 20th, well, it was announced on August 20th, releases on August 28th. So a month from today is when Pixel 10, 10 Pro, 10 Pro XL, 10 Pro Fold will be available to purchase. And the crazy thing about all this is the 10 and the 10 Pro have the same set of cameras. They have 3 camera sensors on them this time around, right? It used to be where the base model only had 2. The Pro models had 3 sets. But this time around, they decided to do 3 sets. So Phone Arena does have this one thing right here incorrect. It says dual camera. It's a triple camera on the Pixel 10. And then you got a triple camera on the Pixel 10 Pro. I'm thinking that, it's using different type of telephoto lens. Maybe the telephoto lens on the Pixel 10 is not going to be as powerful as it is on the 10 Pro series, is what I'm going to guesstimate on. But this is what they say. So we'll skip the design technically, because right here they say like the regular Pixel 10 will have Gorilla Glass Victus, and the 10 Pro will have, the 10 will have Victus 2, and the regular 10 Pro not regular 10 Pro will have just regular Gorilla Glass Victus. I don't think that's true. Of course, both will be IP68 water and dust resistant. I thought they beefed up. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure they went above an optical fingerprint sensor and went with ultrasonic. I could be wrong. Maybe the Pro model has. I don't know. I thought that they beefed up their biometric fingerprint sensor. 6.3-inch display for both of them. OLED with they're saying that the 10 has 2700 nits peak brightness, and the 10 Pro will have 3000 nits peak brightness. I mean, either way, with those brightnesses, they should have no problem seeing it in the sun. No problem at all. The resolution here on the 10 will be 2400 by 1080 at a 20 by 9 aspect ratio, 418 pixels per inch. And then they say on the Pro, 2856 by 1280, a 20 by 9 aspect ratio at 497 pixels per inch. And then down here, it says Gorilla Glass Victus 2 on both. So, yeah, there are some things from Phone Arena that, you may want to just take with a grain of salt. You're done with the hot weather? I am so totally done with the hot weather, too. It's just so weird how fast the year's gone by. We are more than halfway through the year of 2025 already. Within the blink of an eye, like my kids start school next week. My daughter's entering high school. I'll tell you guys a story about that at the end of the live stream here, how that went. And, yeah, we're going to be in September, not long after. October, my favorite month because Halloween's my favorite holiday. And then Thanksgiving right after that. And Christmas right after that. Man, sheesh, this year's going by quick. Anyways, back to the Pixel 10. Yeah, so both will have the Tensor G5. They got it wrong here. Apparently from TSMC, it's a 3 nanometer processor, not a 4 nanometer processor. So this is probably some pretty old guesstimations that Phone Arena did not update. They say they're the official specs, but there are some things that I find wrong on this from phonearena.com. I'm just using this as like an outline, right? This is not official. Because the Pixel 10 will have 3 cameras in the back. It will have a wide angle shooter, an ultra wide, and then a telephoto. So something to, I guess, to really kind of look at. Anyways, for the RAM, it looks like it's LPDDR5X for both, with the Pixel 10 having a 12 gigabytes of RAM, and the Pro models having 16 gigabytes of RAM. Pretty soon, we're going to get into the days where smartphones are going to have, 32 gigabytes of RAM, 64 gigabytes of RAM, especially with the way that, mobile technology is advancing. Charging speeds, it's not looking good. All right, Lucky Chucky, it's not looking good. So if you're hoping that they've came with the modern times of like fast charging, like OnePlus, like 60-watt fast charging, no. There has been nothing that's been leaked when it comes to rumors of the Pixel 10 series that they've beefed up the charging speed. So it looks like it's still going to be on that 30-watt charging. Because here we have it here, 4970 milliamp battery for the Pixel 10. I kind of wish they would have went with silicon carbon. You know what I mean? 4870 milliamp for the Pro, they say. I doubt that. I believe that the Pro model will have a bigger battery than the regular 10. But they say it's got fast charging, Qi wireless charging. Here we go. 27.0 watts wired charging, 15 watt wireless charging for the Pixel 10, and then 27 watt wired charging and 21 watt wireless charging. So no, nothing fantastic about the charging speeds. It's still a bit on the slow side. You do use a slow charger, so not a big deal. Cool. I have a 30 watt power brick that I bought from Google. I want to say when I got the Pixel 6. I ordered the Pixel 6 and then bought the 30 watt Google charger for it. Yes, they do, Titus. My Razer has turbocharging 20 watt. Yeah. And you know what? I would say that they said 27 watts because Google's going to market it at 30 watts. However, I do believe that Google Does kind of cap it at 27, and there's a reason why, right? Because there's some issues that's going on. Another Pixel 6a owner, their phone caught fire while it was on the charger overnight, and there's a story circulating about that. So, Google's really kind of focused on battery health and charging. And so while this is, 27 watt and 27 watt, the only downside to this is I'm pretty sure that the battery health assistant is going to make a play here on the 10 and 10 Pro series. So over time, I think maybe like after 200 charge cycles, they start lowering the volts and the wattage of your charging on your device. Also, the battery capacity starts to go down too as well, right? So, but yeah, here we got the cameras here. It says dual. That is incorrect. It's been leaked that it's a triple camera setup. For the Pro model, it says a 50 megapixel main camera shooter, 48 megapixel ultra wide, and a 48 megapixel telephoto. So I think that's what's going to be the difference, because for the Pixel 10, the ultra wide is actually a 12 megapixel. So it's not a 48 megapixel like they have it posted here on Phone Arena. According to rumors, it's a 12 megapixel. So I think that's where the differences is going to be between the 10 and 10 Pro. So the 10 will have 3 cameras on the back of it. So there's so many leaked photos showing you that there's 3, there's 3 camera sensors and whatnot. So yeah, we're kind of past that point already. We know it's a triple camera setup. It's just I was expecting it was going to be where the Pro models are going to have the much higher camera sensors. Now I don't know if the Pro is going to have a 48 megapixel main shooter like the Pixel 10 will. If it is a 50 megapixel, then that's totally fine. There has to be some sort of differences between the base model and the Pro model, because that was the only thing that I was thinking in my head. Like, what would make people buy the Pixel 10 over the Pixel 10 Pro, and what would make people buy the 10 Pro? Is Android 16 beta out yet? Android 16 is already out, man. Where you been? Where you been, Gene? Dude, I've dropped videos showing people what Material 3 Expressive looks like. You might want to check my back catalog of videos, bro. Ooh, Gene, you slacking. But I get it, man. You're busy, man. You got work. You got all kinds of things going on in your life, bro. So I get it. But no, on a serious note, I'm just messing with you, Gene. I like to bust your balls, but Android 16 has been out. Now, Android 16 is out without Material 3 Expressive. Okay, so you have to understand that. If you want Material 3 Expressive to try it out, then you would still have to go on the beta program, and you would have to install Android 16 QPR1 Beta 3. If you just take the regular Android 16 update, majority of it looks like Android 15. It just has a lot of the, the security upgrades and, the user interface upgrades that, Android 16 has over Android 15. Of course, the APIs have been updated for apps. So apps would have to be, every app out there is pretty much already done, making its apps compatible with Android 16 and all that. So. Motorola is not very good with software updates, Gene. Motorola, I've figured this out so many years talking about mobile technology, phones, and carriers. Motorola would rather give you an upgrade phone that you buy to get the latest version of Android than giving you a software update. Like, they know they can't just never give you a software update, so you will get one for your Moto. What up, Nguyen Dang? Glad to have you here. They will give you an update, but it's not going to be like when Google gets theirs. Like, when it comes to Android and getting the latest software updates on Android, you're going to want to push Google Pixels, obviously. Second to that, you're going to want to push Samsung. And after that, it's pretty much like, nothing technology, CMF. They're pretty good at updating their devices and keeping them up to date. And was it Xiaomi and other ones out there, but really just to like have like the latest version of Android. If that's what's most important to you, it's probably better to go with Pixels or Samsung. Motorola just doesn't. I mean, I don't even know if I gotta check, because I gave my Moto G Stylus 5G 2024 to my oldest son. So he's using it now as his daily phone. So I do got to double check and see. Yeah, Motorola is counting on that. It's counting on the phone to be old, and it's counting on you to feel like your phone is too old, and so you will just upgrade to the next Moto Razr foldable phone that they put out. That's always been Motorola's intentions. They can't sell you Android because that's illegal. They license to use Android, and in that licensing that they have an agreement with Google, they cannot sell an update. They cannot sell a security patch update, or they cannot sell a major OS upgrade. So the way that they do it is they just hardly update their phones and just build a new version of that phone, a modern version, a 2025 model, a 2026 model. And that's how they sell you the update. They make you buy the new phone model, and get the latest software update on it. It's very shady. Very shady. So it says here that the front camera is 10.5 megapixels on the Pixel 10 and a 42 megapixel on the 10 Pro series. So some of these things seems believable, right? For a Pro model to have better camera specs, the better telephoto lens. Some of the stuff is a little bit off, but I can tell that Phone Arena has not updated a lot of their information regarding it. Here's one that some might be interested in: cellular connectivity, right? So these are the different types of bands that the Pixel 10 and 10 Pro will support. So it looks like for 5G bands, let's see, I don't see really much of a difference here, so I'll go off of it, except for that the 10 Pro millimeter wave, and this one says sub 6 and millimeter wave. So obviously the reason why they say it like that is because there's probably a sub 6 only model and then a sub 6 millimeter wave model. So that's probably the reason they have like that. But for the 5G connectivity, N1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 8, 12, 14, 20, 25, 28, 29, 30, 38, 40, 41, 48, 66, 70, 71, 77, 78, 258, 260, and 261 is on the Pixel 10, and the same is on the 10 Pro. But I think the 10 Pro supports both sub 6 and millimeter wave. So there's not like a 10 Pro model that's only sub 6. So that's why it doesn't show it here as sub 6 or millimeter waves, because it supports all. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to look up and see which model is the one that supports all versus just the sub 6 one. But then again, I'm getting my device through Google Fi, so yeah. I should have got a Pixel 9 instead of the Razr. I can't return it now. What do you have it on? Like, what do you have the Moto Razr on? Who's the carrier for it? What made me go back over to Google Fi, honestly, was mainly, and this might sound stupid to some people, but this works for me. So Google Fi allows me to have multiple data-only SIM cards. The problem that I was having was that friends and family didn't know what phone number to call because I had too many phone numbers. I had too many services. I had too many bills. You know what I mean? Like at one point, I had US Mobile, I had Boost Mobile, I had Metro by T-Mobile, and I had Helium Mobile, right? 4 different providers, 4 different bills to juggle and things like that. I was pretty much paying what I would pay for one line of service on Google Fi on their top tier plan. So with Google Fi having same priority access as T-Mobile postpaid versus what the MVNOs had, in my city, this area is dominant on the T-Mobile network. So T-Mobile works great most places in Phoenix. And with having the data-only SIM cards, which allows me to, test out other phones, use other phones for like a day in the life video or just for an update review without having to move my SIM from one device to another device. Because, you could easily do that on Google Fi. It's just, for me, made more sense to just get like 3 or 4 different physical data-only SIM cards and then activate another phone that I have on data-only eSIM. A total of 5 or 6 data-only SIM cards, I think, is like the max you can have. and then of course your main phone line. So that's the reason why I went back to them. Then they just made it hard for me to stick around with them, because then it was like, they gave me $1,600 in credit for financing a device. And I was like, okay, cool. So I would use it. So that's how I got the Pixel 9a for me. That's how I got the Pixel 9a for my wife. Does Google Fi offer only data SIM cards? Though you have to have one of their voice plans to have that. They don't just offer like where you could just get a data only SIM without having an actual phone plan, because that's where it ties to. So here's the caveat to that, so people understand. It's not a separate amount of data that you could use. It pulls from your main phone line's data pool, which is why they upped it from 50 gigs of high-speed data to 100 gigs of high-speed data, is because you have 50 gigs of mobile hotspot, which takes away from your 100 gigs. So you can like tether half of your monthly data to like a laptop or tablet, and then you have data only SIM cards, which also pulls from the 100. So with what is it? I have actually I have three physical data only SIM cards and one eSIM data only SIM card, and then my main line. So that's 5 lines connected, basically just with one pool of data. I average on data usage. I average 37.8 to like 40 gigs of data a month. I don't even come close to the 100 gigs. That's using all those devices. And then of course Brandon there, he's got me hooked up with the T-Mobile Go 5G plan. So I'm also using that too as well. So that's also why the data is low. Plus 2 home Wi-Fi. So that is the only caveat, is that it's not a separate line with fully unlimited, and that could probably change in the future for Google Fi. They continuously, it's like every 3 to 4 years, they want to upgrade their plans and they want to make it better. Of course, they're not trying to beef with T-Mobile because they need T-Mobile for network access, obviously. So, yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But that's the only caveat, is that you can't just get a data-only SIM, like phone, like data-only SIM line for like a tablet and not have a voice line. You have to have voice and text line as well, because that's where it pulls the data from. Let's see. For FDD 4G bands, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 12, 13, 14, 17, 18, 19, 20, 25, 26, 28, 29, 30, 66, and 71. No difference on either side. TDD bands, 38, 40, 41, 48. Same. It's got 3G bands, which I don't think anyone really cares about because no one's really connecting to 3G. So, yeah, some of these specifications I find to be a bit fishy. However, for the most part, let's see, click just, differences only, and then it highlights it. So like it says the glass here is different, but then down here it says the glass is the same. They really needed to fix their stuff. But yeah, of course, I expect the resolutions to be different between them. I expect the Pro model to have more RAM than the base model. What I don't expect is this here, and I'm thinking that the Pro model should have a bigger battery than the base model, but I don't know. And then it says here that only the Pro model has reverse wireless charging. If that is true, so be it. Like, I rarely use reverse charging anyways, so it's not something that, I definitely use quite a bit of. And then, like the selfie cam and, the telephoto sensor. A lot of those things are what's different. Yeah, some of these things are like missing, like the hearing aid thing, hearing aid compatible with M3T4. They don't have it on the Pixel 10, but I know it's on there. All these devices are required to, support hearing aid compatibility. Yeah, this wouldn't make sense here. If it supports N77 and N78 on the base model, but not on the Pro model, I doubt that. But anyways, on this, with just a little bit of the spec differences, and I'm really just going to put it like this. Really, obviously, the cameras might be the single biggest difference. So the biggest difference is RAM and camera. I would say that the Pro model is going to have much more powerful camera sensors, and it has to. It has to. Otherwise, the Pixel 10 would cannibalize the Pixel 10 Pro. There would be no reason to get the 10 Pro. And even with last year's Pixel 9 series, right? The Pixel 9 series kind of already did kind of cannibalize it. The only reason why somebody would go for the 9 Pro over the Pixel 9 was for that extra camera sensor, the telephoto lens, right? Other than that, most people that I see today, anyone that got the Pixel 9, if they got the Pro model of the Pixel 9, it was usually the 9 Pro XL or the 9 Pro Fold. There was hardly people that was going after just a regular Pixel 9 Pro, which I hope that they don't just, say it's unpopular, let's kill it. I don't want them to do that. I want them to maintain a Pro model that is the same size as the base model. I think that's beneficial to people who like the size of the base model and wouldn't want such a large phone. But the differences between them obviously are going to be those subtle things. The higher camera sensors, and it has to be for all 4 camera sensors, like the main camera sensor, the ultra wide sensor, the telephoto sensor, the selfie sensor. Those 4 sensors need to be more powerful than what's in the base model for even there to be any sort of sense out of all of this. The amount of RAM, obviously, that is going to be the differences. And of course, storage capacity size, because I do believe that the Pro models have a much higher storage capacity option than the base model does. I think the base model does 128, 256, according to last year's models. And then the Pro models do 256, 512, 1 terabyte. So that's also going to be the differences too. Storage capacity, the amount of RAM, the camera sensors that they use. Me personally, I'm still shooting for the Pixel 10. And I know I could go get the Pro model and everything like that. But, I don't need that much RAM, much less do I need that much powerful camera sensors. And here's why. So for most people who were kind of upset to hear that the Pixel 10 base model had downgraded its camera sensor from a 50 megapixel shooter to a 48 megapixel shooter, got to remember that Google's computational photography worked wonders for a 12.2 megapixel shooter from the Google Pixel 2 all the way to the Pixel 6a. Right? The Pixel 6a was the last one to use that camera sensor before they switched to a 64 megapixel sensor that was in the Pixel 7a. So, if you could use a smaller sensor and an underpowered sensor to captivate audiences with your photography, then you really don't need that powerful of, camera sensors or that big of a camera sensor lens. Of course, a lot of people do believe that bigger sensor means it lets in more light, means that, you get a much better shot. But when you have AI processing your photos, because you got to remember, Google Pixels don't take natural photos. But I mean, like they do, and you can. Like, you can go into the camera settings and you can turn on raw mode. You could do that, but technically, a lot of Google Pixel photos are processed. They are post-processed photos. We can't lie about that. And so when the magic happens with this computational photography, you really don't need such a big sensor to get pretty good photos when you can just mess around with, the lighting and everything like that while in the camera app. And then, of course, rely on post-processing and the Google Photos app with the editing tool to be able to fudge, color corrections and, brightness, shadows, all types of things. You can even move the portrait lighting to illuminate certain areas on the photos. Like, there's a lot of what I call unnatural post editing done to these photos with Google Pixels, right? So the fact that when they mentioned that it was going to be a 48 megapixel shooter, I was not upset about that at all. That doesn't rack my brain and doesn't make me cry, because I know for a fact you're going to take fantastic photos. Like, Pixels are king of still photography. They are king. People have preferences. I get it. Some people are like, nah, Samsung does a way better job. But some people like their Samsung photos. They like their oversaturated colors. They like, things that, like, photos to look like that. So, so many phones, too many lines. Yeah. Yeah, I did. I had so many. Now I just have like one phone plan, one line. I think the only other additional line that I have is the one that Brandon's letting me use. And I don't even give anybody that phone number out. I just use it for speed testing, or I use it if I'm going to live stream somewhere, or I just, use it. It's a backup phone. No one has that number because in case he ever needs the phone line back and I give it back to him, I don't want anyone having that phone number attached to me. So, but yeah, I only have two lines now. Google Fi is my main one, and then I use the one that Brandon's let me borrow, and that one I use it for speed testing and other things. But going back to Google Pixels, so with all this, I sincerely hope that they don't make it too closely similar, because that has always been the problem with Google and their Pixel phones. They always make phones that are too close in specifications, that has people saying, for instance, like the A series, right? The Pixel 7a and the Pixel 8a both were questioned by people like, why have this? Why have this phone? Just get the base model phone, right? Some people are like, just spend the extra $100, get the base model. Some people are like, well, I'll save an extra $100 by getting the A series model. But there was never really a clear defining difference between the A model and the base model, right? So this time around, the 9A to the 9, there is a slight difference, and of course there is an increase in price difference. So that generally helped out with the Pixel 9a's existence, and people are loving the Pixel 9a. And I'm expecting that same thing to be replicated next year with the Pixel 10a. But the 10 to 10 Pro needs to have significant differences. That's all I'm saying. It just needs to have the significant difference to justify both devices existing and that the price points that they're being sold at. Because from the blessings of the Pixel gods, the prices have not gone up with these devices. Like, people speculated TSMC built 3nm processor known as a Tensor G5 was going to increase the value of these phones. And that's not the case. We're still getting the starting off price, Pixel 10, $799. And I believe the 10 Pro is starting at $899 or $999, something like that. Yeah, 10 Pro at $999, and then the 10 Pro XL at $1,099, and then the 10 Pro Fold at $1,799. It's absolutely crazy. Yeah, so not taking up too much time. I'm gonna pretty much hold it on there. If you made it this far into the live stream, comment. If you're watching the replay, let me know which one would you choose, the 10 or the 10 Pro. I'm going to wrap this up with a quick story for you guys. So just real quick, like I was saying in the beginning of the live stream, things is getting geared up. My daughter's starting high school next week, her first year. I went to her orientation, right? They separated parents from students. Students got a tour around the school. Parents, we had to go to the auditorium, and we listened to the vice principal, the principal, and everyone speak and kind of go over, what the agenda is for the school year. And man, do these kids have things I wish we had in high school. Okay, they literally have a class that they can go to if they're stressed out or if they don't want to. So say my daughter goes to school and she didn't finish her math assignment that's due in the morning. She can legally cut class, but not leave campus and go anywhere. They have a classroom that they can go to where they can get, missing assignments done. They can sit and read, get on their computers. Because nowadays, these high school students have laptops. She had to pick up her laptop, and I think, oh man, I forgot to do that today. I was supposed to take her to see if she can get logged in with the student ID and password they created from the IT team. But anyways, I'll figure it out later this week. But anyways, so in the morning, my wife dropped her off. She took her to the high school, and the orientation for her was from, I believe it was, what time was it from? It was from 9. Oh no, it's from 8. It was from 8 in the morning until 12:30 in the afternoon. So my daughter started crying because my daughter has anxiety. She's scared to meet people. She's scared to be around strangers because this high school she's going to, no student from her preschool district is attending this high school. She hasn't seen anybody. And I told her, don't make that speculation just yet, because once school starts next week, you might run into them in the hallways, But yeah, she was going through anxiety. She cried. Because she cried, my wife cried, and then my wife was telling me like, oh, she cried, I felt bad. And I told my wife, I was like, why do you think I didn't go with you this morning to drop her off? Because I didn't want to cry. She would have made me cry because she makes this face, and I'm just like, I want to be her hero and save her and protect her from anything that would hurt her. So when she started crying, I would get teary eyed, and I didn't want to do that, so I stayed home. I let my wife take her, drop her off to orientation. But yeah, these high schools, they have classrooms that you can go to. You can, if you don't want to go in your classroom, if you don't want to deal with stress, you can go to this classroom. You can sit there for the whole entire period, right? I think like each class is like an hour long and stuff like that. And so like she was like pretty nervous about it. She's like, you know, uh, actually, hold on, let me bring her here. I don't want to scream in the house and make the dogs bark. Turn my camera on for a sec. And I'm gonna turn my camera this way so that way she can be in the shot. I usually call her my little T-Rex. Let's see if I can get her to come here. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna have to do the whole shout thing. 1 second, everybody. Come here. Close the door.
Okay.
Say hello to everybody.
Oh, hell no.
Come here.
No.
No, I'm sharing the story real quick. Come here. You're gonna help me out with the story.
Okay.
All right. So, the what is the class called? Like, if you don't want to go to say like math and you're stressing out, you can go to another classroom. Do you remember what it's called?
No, they never gave them here. I think it's like a free period or something like that.
Free period. Okay. What is your biggest fear of going to high school?
Exams.
Exams
Yeah.
on the first day of school?
I don't know. I don't know anyone in the district.
So it's basically meeting new people.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I wanted to share that with them about. Oh, because I already told them that my little T-Rex cried at orientation when you got dropped off.
Hey, that's private stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. What are you guys doing?
I'm watching TV on my phone and Angel's playing games.
Okay. All right. Thanks for letting me borrow you.
About it.
Yeah. So, it's meeting new people that she's afraid of. She's always nervous to be on my camera. So she has her own YouTube channel. Every now and then she makes content on her channel, and then sometimes like she stops. But yeah, of course, I don't tell anybody what her channel is or where to find her or anything like that. Mainly because there's creeps out there. I would tell somebody that going to high school, it's not really hard. So you need to. Well, so like the learning aspect of it, she's pretty much geared up for. She's set for that. Like she already knows that, the last 9 years, right? Because kindergarten through 8th grade was preparation for her to go into high school. Like she knows that these grades count, And for her to graduate high school in the state, she needs 22 credits. However, the way that the classes are, if she passes every class and does not fail, then by her senior year, she would be graduating with 25 credits or 25.5 credits. So there's like wiggle room. And I was like explain that to her, because she was like, if it's 25 credits I'll get for passing every class, then why is it only 22 to graduate? And I told her, some people may not do good in science, or they may not do good with like world history or US government or any of those subjects. They may fail. So it gives you wiggle room that even if you may have failed, US history, you'll still have enough credits to graduate. So but yeah, she's just more nervous in the fact of meeting new friends, because she hasn't seen anyone that she knows, and she kind of wants a fresh start too. So she's nervous because my daughter has anxiety, so she always gets scared of things. Like last night, I needed to run my Nissan Armada, so I needed to just like run the engine for a little bit, right? Because I hardly use it, and I don't want it to sit idle without any usage. So I go out there, I run the vehicle for like 10-15 minutes. Sometimes I will take it around the block and drive it, but if it's just like a quick run, I'll do that. So last night I was just messing with her. I told her she was going to drive, and I made her get into the driver's seat and made her start the SUV, and she freaked out turning it on. Like literally freaked out, and she was scared. She was scared to touch the steering wheel. So bless my daughter. She has slightly bad nerves. Nothing traumatic has happened to her to give her that. I don't know what it is. She's like her mom. My wife is the same way. So yeah, their characteristics are very identical. My wife, and she's my oldest daughter. So you guys see how she looks, and of course she's afraid to be on camera because she doesn't want you guys to know that she's short. When we went to orientation, she was one of the shortest people going into 9th grade, and she'll probably go like another inch or so. I think she's 4'10" or 4'11". She'll probably grow as tall as like 5'1", 5'2" at max. But I expect her to be as short as her mom. My wife is like 5'1". So yeah, my daughter's not gonna get like tall like my sons. My sons are tall. My daughters are short. My youngest daughter is already taller than her. So she is the little sister who's bigger than the big sister. But yeah, she's gearing up for high school. She's excited for it. She's already picked her elective classes. She picked 4, but she's only going to get assigned 2. They just wanted backups in case those electives were filled. So she's I don't know if she got accepted into animations and art design. That was something that she was heavily interested in. High school band, she's wanting to join the band, and she's hoping that that's the one that they give her, like one of her electives, because she likes being in band. And cooking, they have culinary arts. So it's different from home ec, right? Like home economics, you learn how to cook some dishes, you learn how to sew, you learn proper ways of cleaning your house, and finance, budgeting. At least when I went to school, that's what they taught us. This is completely different. So this is actually a culinary class, and if she's going to go into being a restaurateur or culinary arts, like in the future, because she does want to own her own bakery, that this would be perfect for her, because it would kind of give her that starting steps foot entry into that career. So like the high school that she goes to is very driven. So it's a little bit like they explained it. It's so different from when I went to high school, because you do get your basic classes, right? Math, which she'll have, I think it's like algebra 2, because she finished off 8th grade with algebra 1. So she'll have algebra 2 this year, and then next year it just goes up, right? I told her to go as far as she can in math. That way, she can apply these skills to like other career fields, right? I want her to be a great chef. I want her to be a great, dessert baker. But I also want her to have fallbacks in case those don't work out, or maybe she just doesn't feel like it when she's a bit older. Always tell her, like, leave room to wiggle in life, because today you might feel this way, tomorrow you might want to change and be this way, and you just always want to have that room to grow. So, but her high school is like really focused. So there's a lot of like collaborations with businesses out there and stuff like that. Like they also have like a medical field, and with the medical field uh, elective classes, they count as clinician hours. So if someone's trying to become, you know, like in high school, they can get their CNA license, which is the entry into nursing, and then they can get their LVN here in high school when they graduate. By the time they graduate, and just be at that one step away from becoming an RN. And yeah, so she chooses to do that. That's fine. They got a lot of sports there: soccer, women's basketball. Um, so my youngest daughter's excited, but she has to finish 8th grade this year, and then next year she'll go to high school. So she'll be a freshman. My oldest one, you guys just saw, she'll be a sophomore then. And it's funny because my youngest son, when he goes to high school, my youngest daughter will be in her senior year. So they'll have one more year of school left together after this year. Because this year, the school down the road is from grades kindergarten through 8th grade. So my daughter and my youngest son, they'll be going to the same school together, but this will be the last year until 4 years from now where they will be in the same school again. Other than that, they will be in different schools. Yeah, so time is going by pretty dang quick. But yeah, anyways, if you're catching a replay, you want to give my daughter some words of encouragement, go ahead and post it. If you're watching the replay, post in the comments. I'll have her read it later. If you guys can, again, please hit the thumbs up. Not for me, do it for my son. My youngest son turns 10 tomorrow. I'm super excited. So I won't be very active tomorrow as far as like videos or live streaming or anything like that. Because tomorrow is my son's birthday. He's triple digits. And yeah, we got birthdays all coming up. My son is tomorrow, and then my youngest daughter is the week after, and then 2 weeks after that is mine. And then 2 weeks after that, no. So after my daughter's, it's technically 9 days. So like a week and 2 days, then it's mine. And then 9 days after mine is my wife. So the difference in the birth dates, my youngest daughter's is 9 days before me. My wife is 9 days after me. So it's increments of 9. Pretty crazy. Yeah, so this month of August coming up is going to be very busy. September is my daughter's birthday month, so we got that, and she's a teenager, and I hate that because I'm just like, oh, she's growing up so fast. So it hurts. It hurts because I know one day I'm just going to be the old dad, the old guy who doesn't know anything, yada yada yada. Some young man is going to try to, beef himself up in my daughter's eyes by making her dad look stupid. I know those things because I was a young man once, and I thought I knew the whole damn world and would convince my girlfriends, hey, your dad don't know shit. He's of the old Stone Age, So I know that's going to happen, and it sucks. But, I have to accept it because you reap what you sow, right? You reap what you sow. What you do unto others comes back to you. So I know that's going to happen. So anyways, I appreciate you guys for literally hanging out with me this evening. You guys be safe out there, and new video schedules, Tuesdays and Thursdays. I aim to drop videos twice a week. That it gives me a little bit more time to edit these videos for you guys. So that's, better than what I've been putting out. I'm trying to make better content for everybody. So Tuesdays and Thursdays with the live stream on Saturdays and Sundays is where I'm going for it. So, you guys be awesome, be safe out there, and yeah, I'll talk to y'all later.